Okay. So, with the Smart Server Manager now, what I want to do here is to configure storage area network on my domain controller. And like we also often do for other stuff, go to next here, and I'm going to go on my file and storage here, drop down this box, and there are certain things I'm going to look for, and I'm going to select file and iSCSI services. Okay. If I do not have that, then a lot of the other stuff that I want to install I may not see. Okay. And here I'm actually going to be installing FileSCSI, target. You see that over here? So it's important for you to see the stuff that I'm grabbing over here. iSCSI. I can even do iSCSI target storage provider, but right now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to select this. You can even select a branch cache for network. Okay, and what this one does is allows for bandwidth optimization technology that caches the content of your main office content to server, so people can view it sometimes offline. So I have this option selected, and I'm going to go to next. I'm going to go to next here, and then go ahead and install this option. Eventually what I'm installing here is my iSCSI target and my file and iSCSI server. So I've not installed FastServer before. I'm installing it here now, and I'm selecting my branch cache. The branch cache here is not necessary. I just decided to put it there. So once this is fully installed, I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to Tools, and under the Tools, I'm going to go to see if I can see my file. Storage services. So you can see I have my file storage over here, which is installed here by default. Okay, so then I can select my iSCSI tab, and from here I'm going to say create iSCSI virtual disk. And by selecting that option, I have a series of volumes here. All right, I have my this 2 gig here selected, 2.48 gigabit. All right, I don't want to put it on my drive C, so I go to next here. And here, let's call it cloud storage. Okay? And I can go to next. And one of the things that you want to remember here is, before we go too far, what is the big deal about this kind of storage? It is because this gives you a block storage. It presents a block storage for systems instead of the file system that is being presented when you have a network share. All right, so let's go to next here. We're gonna just say, let's say 2 here. Okay, and I'm going to say I want this thing to be dynamically increasing, expanding. So you can expand up to 2 gig. So go to next here. Okay, and you have a new iSCSI target. Okay, so one of the things that you can do, the next SCSI target is what people are going to see. So go over here, and let's call this one vStorage. Okay? That's what they're going to see. That's the name that they're going to see when clients want to connect to it. So go to next here, and then you get to this point where now it's asking you to enter, iSCSI server. Before you do that, one of the things you could do is you could come over here and enter your Initiator, or you could also go to your machine. So you have your iSCSI, Initiator here. Every machine have an iSCSI Initiator, and I will walk you through how to, select them. There's also iSCSI Target, which is something that we really do need to configure. So when you have something like this, you can go to yes, and one of the things I want to do here is to start this Initiator, and I'll go to my discovery. Okay, and one of the things I can come over here is go to Discover Portal. Your iSCSI generally talks on port 3260. I can find out the IP config here, and that is this. Here, and put it on this one. You can use your IP address here and click OK. Okay, so that would be your machine name, the machine that is, having the server. All right, so that's the machine that owns the network device itself. There are other stuff that I also want to show you. Remember something we did or something over here? You can go to Advanced. Okay, and under the Advanced here, one thing that I also want you to carefully look at is you have the default here, call it Microsoft iSCSI Initiator, and over here, what is our password here? 522, right? So I want to use this. It's showing me 2 here because this guy's got 2 IP address, 2 network cards. You got it? Are you paying attention now? You're gonna need it. So I said that's the IP address. So one of the things that I can do here, and I can let me see how I can do this. Actually, you know what? I can do this. Where is the IP address of this guy here? Let's find out. CMD IP config 6, right? And if I go to control panel, generally you can see iSCSI Initiator somewhere there. If you find it, let me know. So it's here, right? Every machine has it. Every machine sort of have it. So I can configure, and it comes back up. Let's see that. So I'll come back and probably do this a little bit later, but let me get back to where I was here. Okay, one of the things that you see often here is to let this machine know what you want to set up. I know the IP address of this machine with 522. If on this machine I did something like this, right, and I say quick connect, you see that I didn't see anything over here because my target is not fully configured on the other machine. That's why this guy couldn't detect it. If my target is fully configured, it would. But wait a minute, I'm going to finish this up. Then I'm going to come over here and click OK. Alright? So I've set up this. Let me make sure. I'm going to remove this. 1 second here. Go back again. Type my IP address. Go to this one. This one. This one. Okay. Okay. All right. So you see what I did over here. One of the things I did was essentially to, configure the name of my computer. Tell it, here's the initiator, here's the potter. I can also modify this a little bit though. One of the things I could do over here is I can actually point these guys to 3. So for example, I'll remove this one. Show you another. And you can see, enter the IP address or DNS name and potter number of the potter you want to add. See that? And advanced here is just telling me the local adapter is this one. And if I say this one, just because this machine has 2 IP address, connect over here, it's good to go. Any question at this point? And since I've done this part, a lot of the time, all I needed to do here is just to refresh my page. I can go click OK here. I'll go back to where I was before. Is that alright? So go ahead and add. And now you can see, I can see myself. Right? I can see, this guy here. And who is this? Client. Who is that client? Huh? This guy. See that? Because I entered earlier over here. So he's saying, let me quickly explain something to you so you can understand. It's a weird name. It's not a very familiar name. A target is essentially your server. Okay? Whereas an initiator is the client that wants to connect to the server. So it's an iSCSI terms. When you hear a target is the same thing as a server. Okay? An initiator will be a client that needs to connect to the server, which will be a target. Okay? Just remember that whenever you see a target, that means your server, your storage area network server. Initiator, the client that want to connect to it. So again over here, depending on what you want to connect or who you want to configure this machine to be. Okay? So if I want to say this is a select from the initiator cache on the target server. So it's very simple here if you want to do this. Okay? Add initiator ID. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay? I can select this one if I think that's the initiator, but pretty much depends on me here. If I click OK, I can go ahead and add the client. Like OK. Alright. Can go to next. Now I can select sharp here. This is challenge authentication protocol. If you want to secure so anybody cannot just connect to it, you might slow your stuff down a little bit. I'm not going to configure it yet. I can go to next here, and it's telling you here, confirm that the following are the correct settings, and then click create. So this virtual location for CA, not cluster, the same thing for the other one. So I can go back and say create, and then quickly create this. And one option that I have here now is if I go back to this machine here, I'm going to try and see if I can refresh. You see that now? What do you see here? V storage. You see that? So if I said, okay, now check this out. If I go over here, computer, manage, disk, I'm trying to refresh my, I want to show you how I'm going to actually consume that, that storage. See, I don't have anything here. You watch it now. I go to my administrator, go to my initiator, and then go to connect. See that? Connect. It's going to say you want to hard disk, whatever. Select multipad. I don't want to do that yet. Let's just have a simple connection. Okay, it's connected now. Let me see if I can refresh what I've got here. So you can see that now. It looks like a disk. You understand? It is a disk. It's not physically attached though, but as far as my machine is concerned, it presented it to this machine as a block, not as a network share. You understand? I can right click this and initiate this disk like I would do any other disk. You understand? I can install an operating system on this disk. You understand? But this is exactly how you consume storage in the cloud. This storage is presented to this machine across the internet. That's why we call it iSCSI. SCSI is a type of command to write data on the disk, but now it's across the internet. You understand? This disk is not physically attached to this man. You understand? It's not physically attached. As a matter of fact, this thing is residing over here. And the storage that I'm presenting for this guy is actually my G. And if you want to kind of get a good look at what my G is my spanning disk. It's not a high quality disk. You understand? It's just large. Let's say I have a customer that says, I really I want to do a super project. I want it to be super fast, and I want to crank in and show them what we got. I can say, well, I can give you a managed storage, which is a common terms in the cloud. I can give you a managed storage that is going to be super fast for $2 more a day. Sure, I want it. Then I'll just come over here. It's rather very easy to set this up. I'll come over to my server here. Go to my iSCSI here. You understand? And I can make new. I can create new iSCSI virtual disk. I can create a new one. And I can say, this is F, this is stripe volume, and go to next, and then create a name. Then after creating a name, create a virtual target, make it available for them. And I can say, now I'll get you a stripe. Let's say 2 days later they say, you know what, we need something that is have some redundancy. That's $5 more a day. That's why they call it managed storage. I've done all the work. As a matter of fact, they said we need something faster. I can say, okay, I can get you a managed storage that is solid state with this amount of provision and all that kind of stuff. I've done all the work in the back end. I'm just presenting it to them across the cloud. You understand what I'm saying? When you go to Amazon or go to Microsoft Azure, you are consuming this kind of storage. I can present it. As long as I give this guy access to it across the cloud, pretty much easier for me to make sure that now, here's a client machine now, I can even format it here, format this disk, You can use only part of it for now. Go to next, and call this one cloud. The one over here is quickly formatted, and there you have it, the drive you can use. You understand? But this is not a local drive. This machine doesn't know though, right? Because it presented a block storage. What have I just done now? What I've done now is to set up a storage area network on this machine. I've made this machine essentially to be a storage area network.